Okay, so tell me a little bit about Rocky Mountain ADA and how it got started.
So the Rocky Mountain ADA Center is one of 10 federally funded ADA information technical assistance centers in the country. And we got started because the ADA was passed in 1990. And as part of the law, it actually requires that there are technical assistance centers that the public can use when they need help understanding their rights and responsibilities under the law.
Mm-hmm. So what kinds of services do you provide at Rocky Mountain ADA?
So that's a great question. One of the most important things to know about what we do is that we don't do any enforcement of the Americans with Disabilities Act and we don't do any advocacy. So we are strictly informational services. And we do that through a few ways. We provide information, or answers to questions. So when anyone has a question about the ADA, whether it's how does the ADA apply to me, or, you know, I'm a business and what do I need to do to comply with the ADA? We can always answer those questions. We provide training. So if, for example, a whole city or town wants to train all of their employees on the ADA, we can come in and provide that training. We provide materials, so things like pocket guides or fact sheets or frequently asked questions. And those are available to people just kind of as helpful references when they need to know more about the ADA. And we also do some research on the ADA. So that's kind of a big part of what the government asks us to do with the funding that they provide us. And that helps us understand more about how the ADA is being implemented. Is it being successful? Are there barriers to that implementation? And then hopefully we turn all of that research into more helpful information to kind of help the ADA continue to be implemented and make sure people with disabilities have access to those civil rights.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. So I know this isn't in my notes, but like what kinds of research do you do?
I love that question. So we do it's all surrounding sort of ADA implementation and barriers to implementation. So one of our big research projects right now is around implicit bias and how that affects people with disabilities in hiring or employment settings, and also in interactions with law enforcement and first responders. We also have done projects on, how the ADA applies to things like vacation rentals, or how the ADA applies on tribal lands. So all different kinds of research that we try to do, and we try to be responsive to kind of like what are the burning questions that we have about the ADA in today's world, because things like COVID will happen, and then that will bring up lots of new questions about the ADA and what our rights are as people with disabilities. So we try to be responsive to those changes in our day-to-day lives as well.
Mm-hmm. What kinds of stakeholders does Rocky Mountain ADA partner with closely?
Um, Lots of stakeholders. We do a lot of referral um, to other organizations that can help people um, with where we maybe aren't able to help. So if someone needs legal assistance, then we might be able to refer them to an entity that can provide that support. If somebody needs that advocacy or peer support, we might provide a referral to those kinds of organizations. So the local independent living centers and um, the protection and advocacy centers and things along those lines.